Day 2 of the NFL Combine is officially over, and we get to see some of the defensive backs compete together and put all of their athleticism on display. Some guys did very well and raised their draft stock, but other guys ended up having a rough day and may slip down draft boards because of it. Today, we're going to be ranking the top cornerbacks for the 2024 NFL Draft with their Combine numbers now in consideration. Coming in at the number 1 spot, we have Trey Arnold from Alabama. Now, he didn't actually have the best day at the Combine. He measured in at under 6 feet tall, and his 40 time came in at a modest 4.5 seconds. Those numbers weren't exactly terrible, but it's not quite what people were hoping for from him. Luckily, he still put up enough on tape to hold on to that number 1 spot on this list, and it helps that a lot of the other cornerbacks in this class recently had their draft stock hurt, which we'll get into more in a minute. I just really like the energy that he brings as a player, and a lot of his game reminds me of Devon Witherspoon from last year's draft. Both guys play with a lot of intensity and ferocity, especially when tackling and run support. Arnold is a bit below average from a physical standpoint, but I think that he's a better athlete on the field than his combine numbers indicate, and I also think that his high IQ and relentless motor will help to compensate for his lacking measurables. Coming in at number 2, we have his teammate KoolAid McKenzie. Surprisingly, KoolAid was not able to participate at the Combine. The doctors there discovered that he's dealing with a Jones fracture in his foot, which is a bit concerning. He's expected to be ready to go by the time that training camp rolls around for whoever drafts him, so at least that's some solid news, but his draft stock is still undoubtedly going to take a hit because of this. Still, I think that he's shown us plenty over the past 2 seasons to be considered one of the top guys in this class. He has long arms and is great in both man and press coverage, which is always valuable in the NFL. He's a bit more scheme dependent than some of the other players in this class, but I think that somebody could get a great value on him if he ends up slipping because of his injury. If I was a team like the Rams or the Steelers picking in the 15 to 25 range in the first round, I'd be praying that he gets to me with that pick. At number 3, we have Quinnen Mitchell from Toledo. This guy has been a hot riser over the course of the offseason so far, and he didn't disappoint at the Combine. He ran a 4.33 second 40-yard dash. His size turned out to be pretty average at 6 foot, 195 pounds, and he did the most reps out of anybody on the bench press with 20. A lot of people have him as their top cornerback in this class, and I can see why. He's a freak athlete who was an absolute lockdown in college, and I still can't deny that he has the potential to develop into one of the best cornerbacks in the league. Still, I have a hard time putting him much higher on this list because I think that he's slightly too small for my taste, and he also didn't play much real competition at Toledo. I think that he could develop into being a great player, but I'm a little worried that there might be some growing pains in his first couple of seasons as he tries to get up to speed with NFL talent. This guy is probably going to end up being a top 15 pick on draft night, and he completely deserves it. At number 4, we have a bit of a hot take with Tampa from Iowa State claiming this spot. He didn't end up doing any of the on-field testing at the NFL Combine, but we were still able to get his physical measurables, and they inspire a lot of confidence. He stands at 6'1", 190 pounds, and had the longest arms out of all of the major prospects in this class. He's clearly big enough to play on the outside, and he was expected to test out well as an athlete if he wasn't sidelined because of his hamstring injury. He'll do workouts at his pro day, but unless something goes terribly wrong for him, there's no way that he drops out of my top 4. He was such a lockdown in college, and everything about his size, athleticism, and versatility screams NFL talent. He reminds me a lot of Joey Porter Jr. from last year's class, who we've seen has already turned out to be one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. Now, we just have to wait and see if the NFL feels similarly about him in April. At number 5, we have Nate Wiggins from Clemson. He had an up and down combine, but I think that he was actually one of the biggest losers of the group, which is tough to say because I thought that he was in contention for the cornerback 1 spot before the combine. Now, let's get the good out of the way, which was that he ran a 4.28 40-yard dash, which was by far the best out of all the cornerbacks. That's absolutely elite, but unfortunately he wasn't able to do the rest of the workouts because he suffered some kind of a minor injury during the 40. So it was great to see his speed on display, but what really hurt his draft stock was his size. He weighed in at just 173 pounds, and his arms were a lot shorter than we thought they were going to be. Both of those things are serious issues heading into the NFL, and that limits his upside a lot. I still think that he's going to be a late first or early second round pick, but he isn't the elite talent that I thought he was going to be heading into the offseason. The 2 guys that just missed the cut for the top 5 was Cooper DeJean from Iowa and Kamari Lassiter from Georgia. I know that DeJean has a lot of believers out there, and he is really good, but I still have some major concerns with him. I don't think that his athleticism is as elite on tape as people make it out to be, and I have concerns with his ability to play on the outside in the NFL. I think that he'd be a lot better as a slot cornerback or maybe a safety, so a lot of his success is going to end up depending on where he gets drafted. Either way, he has a high floor as a special teams guy at the very least. Lassiter, on the other hand, is a bit safer but has less upside. He was dominant at Georgia and thrives as a very fluid athlete, but I'm not sure that he has the physical tools to develop into an elite cornerback at the next level. I love the energy and enthusiasm that he brings to the table in run support, but I just find it hard to justify him as more than a day 2 guy at this point. And that's gonna do it for this video. Which rankings do you agree or disagree with? Let me know down in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching, and remember to like and subscribe if you wanna see more content like this. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, goodbye.